All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here. Just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. Thought I would sit down, do a video for you guys and gals. Wake up like we do most mornings here. So, yeah, let's get this going. It'll take people a little bit to get in here, and that's okay. Uh, right. I'm going to make some other posts while we go. So, for people who chime in after the fact, you'll have to boost this forward a little bit to get to the conversations. We get into a lot of in-depth conversations. They go into all sorts of strange tangents, usually not even fitness related. It's psychology, physics, history, all sorts of stuff gets going in these pretty commonly. So yeah, it's not letting me start my super chat goal. Why? Like the start button isn't working. Let's try it that way. I don't know what the problem is there. So let everyone know to hit the like button. Let's see. Well, I can't get the super chat goal to start, so it just is what it is. What do we do? It just won't hit the start button, even though everything is ready. All right. So what I also tend to do in these, while this is warming up, I do other posts. I go on Facebook and my other social media, and we make our other posts. And yeah, as we get woken up here. So I'm still waking up, of course. It's before 5 a.m. here. It's before 5 a.m., but I wake up with my people here. So again, you guys get me not fully awake. We get into, like I said, some interesting conversations sometimes. And made a couple of little Halloween posts. I got to put up all my Halloween memes that I had previously made. All right. To get that going. And I'll check back over with everybody here. There's really no one in here yet. Yeah, this is a hair earlier, so people may not be watching for it yet. So they may not be watching. And we'll get over and let people know that we're doing a coffee chat. That will help. That will probably help. Because people are not getting the alerts. Let's try that. That will let people know that we're in here. But usually until the first people get in and they leave comments, it doesn't kick it into anyone's algorithm. All right. Hopefully it's not bugging out. Might be buggy. We only have one viewer in. So it's not always good. And it's not letting me do the thingy. So hopefully it's actually running. Make sure I've set everything correctly. Yeah, everything is set as it should be. So, and well, there's only so much we can do. In the meantime. So again, people who chime in, you'll have to scroll down until people get in if you come in after the stream closes. But this is unusual. We don't get 4 minutes in and only have one viewer normally. So I'm not sure what the deal is. It might be because I'm earlier than normal. That's probably a factor. It's definitely going to be a factor. But what can you do? Of course, I talk about some of this nonsense. Anti-oatmeal posts, like these crazy carnivores. Like, you have to wonder how anti-science do you have to be anti-oatmeal? That is really, really, I don't know what else to say about that. I just can't get my head around that. For anyone to look at the host of scientific data in general and to draw a conclusion that oatmeal is not one of the healthiest foods that you could eat blows my mind. You know, as I can't even get my head around that. I can't even comprehend the chain of logic. Like I can't even see the starting point for the chain of logic to where someone arrives at that conclusion. It's just so far out there, you know. It's just so far out there, Alex. Why don't you drink liquid calories? It should be common sense, Alex. I have an insane appetite. Liquid calories are an enormous contributor to obesity. I mean, let's be fair. If all liquid calories went away, would we even really have an obesity problem in America? So you take someone like me who can easily eat 6 or 7 thousand calories. You hit that like telling Peppermint, hey Peppermint, did you get an alert or did you just see it through the community tab or did you just check in? Trying to figure out what's going on with this. Yeah. But the point here, Alex, I mean, liquid calories are just insanely easy to overconsume. This is not difficult. I just saw it when I refreshed my YouTube. Okay, interesting. There we go. Now that you hit a like, now we're getting viewers all of a sudden. It basically takes one person to engage. You know, appreciate it, Peppermint. But yeah, I can't get my head around when the people make an anti-oatmeal post. I can't. I can't comprehend it. You know, well, it's not difficult. Alex, what you just wrote, not difficult. Could you explain what you're talking about? You know, yeah, I have no frame of reference for the comment. But this is what I'm talking about. Posts like this, you know, with the oatmeal thing. And I screw that one guy always argues with me in every group. This one guy. So the guy who replied under there too, he's a fat guy who is keto obsessed and believes keto is the only way. He's a fat guy who lost weight, but he's still fat. And he loves to post in all the groups, and he's so pro keto, like militantly, religiously pro keto. And when I say still fat, I don't mean bodybuilder fat. I mean he's still fluffy, pretty fluffy by normal standards. He's not in shape. But man, he is like pretty much a preacher for the keto movement. You know, he's a true believer. And that guy, he pops off at me at every post, everywhere, in every group. It's kind of funny. It's a conspiracy by Big Oatmeal. But I mean, the LDL denial is the fascinating one too. Like I don't comprehend either how anybody, unless it's a conspiracy theory. So unless you believe in the Illuminati or something, there's no way you're pushing the LDL as a scam thing. like that that the lipid hypothesis is wrong. Because it's strange, like from their perspective, well, newer science keeps debunking it. Newer science keeps confirming it. Like studies that attempt to debunk it end up proving it, funded by people who have a financial and personal interest in debunking it. Like that's as bad as it gets. And I think kind of the nail in the coffin was that keto study this year. Do you eat hash browns? I don't generally eat processed foods for the most part. I eat single ingredient foods. There's nothing wrong with hash browns per se, but I don't fry or cook in oils. So if you're not cooking in oils, you can't make hash browns. Alex, my breakfast yesterday, I don't eat breakfast till around noon. Was 2 omega-3 eggs, chicken breast, a lot of brown rice, sweet potatoes, broccoli, and bell pepper. Right. I'm a chicken and rice type bro. Chicken and rice type bro. All right, guys, I'm going to refill my coffee. All right, we're back. Hey, Alex, you still didn't hit like, by the way, man. I like the short on the ancient Chinese secret. I'm putting funnier titles in those things. It helps on Facebook also. All right. Try to be a little more ridiculous with my titles. Yeah. It's good for outreach, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Ancient Chinese secret. We got to be that way. People can relate. Yeah. I got to be, because I used to be silly, man. Talking about chesticles and things, I'm silly in real life. So I am way, way more clinical online than I am in person. Like, I bust out in random song. Good morning, Coach. What's up, David? Hey, music. It says, why are people think that Tylenol caused autism? Because there were studies linking it. It came out of Harvard University, linking prenatal Tylenol use with increased rates of autism. The problem is I'm so used to having a filter historically because of terms of service and being in front of a camera that I'm just not my normal silly self. So again, a perfect example. People who know me in real life, who've known me a long time, expect Jason Blaha busts out into songs randomly while talking. Does that make sense? Like I'm known for having no filter and just singing. Hey, music, what do you mean? What do I think about the studies? I think that we need more research, but they have definitely found a link, but it's been politicized. That's the problem. The problem is because the Trump administration talked about it, the far left is going to push back, including doctors, in spite of the research. Now it's been made political because of that. So therefore, we're not going to see objective science. It's Trump derangement syndrome at its finest. Which is always strange to me that the far left pretends that the far right is anti-science when they do the same thing. I mean, let's a perfect example. They can't claim to be on the side of science while pushing their trans thing. They just can't. That alone dispels even the most remote idea that they care about objective science. Their whole position on gender and transgender and things like that makes it extremely clear they don't care about science at all. So they need to drop that nonsense. When you have an entire ideology that when you ask them, can you define a woman biologically, they can't. Okay, this is the point where they need to just pretend that they don't care about science. Stop pretending, just admit you care about ideologies, not science. Just stop. And both sides are guilty of it. I think both political parties and ideologies are anti-science for the most part. Right? I think both of them are personally. Because they'll politicize science all the time. Yeah. And the problem with both groups is against science. Is it right? Exactly. I think we need politician control. I agree. But the worst part, through neuroscience, plus put more pressure on the knee. How are we defining the knee, Benjamin? Because what you're asking might not be what you're asking. So you're talking about the joint, or are we talking about something near the knee? Okay, so that's why I need you to be specific, Benjamin. The patellar tendon, not the joint. So the knee is a joint. Okay. The patellar tendon can get more inflamed due to the deep squat nature. Because it's a longer range of motion, some people can get more inflammation. But I think that can be largely abated by actually just going deeper in that case. I think that resolves the issue quite effectively. Says me. Right. Hey, Peppermint, I really don't want to start confusing Benjamin further. I feel like I've excessively confused Benjamin already on this whole discussion with widening and narrowing the stance. And let's just not further confuse him. He's already insanely confused with all of this to the point where yeah. Is that the kneecap? No, the kneecap is a bone. Right. Yeah, let's leave it alone. He's already insanely confused and he's scared to squat heavy. Yeah. Could do with a morning coffee. Hey, Benjamin, so let's go back over. You need to squat heavy. Stop making excuses. Put more than 40 kilograms on the bar. You're not allowed to ask me any more squat questions till you upload footage with you doing reps with 60 kilograms. I want to see it on your channel, a big boy plate on each side. You've been lifting weights over a year. It's time to put the big boy plates on. Until you show that you're not terrified to put the full 20 kilo plates on each side and do rep work, I am not going to answer any more squat questions. And I'm being serious. I'm not answering any for you until you prove that you're not terrified of the big boy plates. You've been squatting for a year. So until I see footage on your channel with the full plates or reps, I'm not answering any more squat questions. Full stop, straight up. That's my rule, and that's fair. Okay. You got to get over this phobia. And asking questions about pain and hurt and injury on squats is just reinforcing your phobia. So I've now played therapist. Played therapy for the day. Once you put those plates on to do it, you'll wonder why you were so scared before. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all run into our stuff. Like me, I really want to step back and start just sinking my high bar squats. But every time I do them, I go for those reps. I know that I'm not sinking them ass to grass. I'm like, oh, but I'm getting 7 reps. I want to get to where I force myself to just sink them, even if it's at the expense of reps. Even if I need to do a brief pause again. Right. But I need my low back to fully recover. Man, I like the weight it carries, but yeah, my low back with all the squatting and pulling I do is not handling them. It's interesting that loaded carries are the thing that is aggravated my back, and deadlifts don't. All right. I slept pretty good, Dad. Got a good night's sleep. I woke up a hair early. But we're definitely good. So closing out the month well. Hopefully more to come. I'm hoping one of my guys is talking about coming back this coming month. He needed like 5 months off. He does packages. I'm hoping he comes back. He got moved over to Japan from the Netherlands, and he didn't want coaching, and he's been struggling to get his training in. He knew with the whole move and transition with his work. So he's getting his home gym set up again in Japan, hoping he rotates back in the next couple of weeks. How long? It's not based upon my wake up. It's based upon I don't eat till noon in general, sometimes a hair later. I don't want anything to do with TikTok. Number one, I don't need yet another service. Number two, there's issues with security leak with the Chinese, and it would just be reposting of my same stuff. I did it for a little while, and then I deleted it. I stay off of TikTok. I don't watch TikTok. So Lewis, so for context, I've been up since I woke up, probably opened my eyes about 4 a.m., turned the coffee pot on, rolled out of bed later. I'm going to eat at noon to 1 o'clock, somewhere in there. So, you figure at least 8 hours. I imagine New Year should be a good time for business. New Year, new me, and all that. Hey, David, you're out of the loop clearly on the fitness industry, unfortunately. Yeah, EJ came through the afternoon. Yeah, he came through for a bit. So, David, you would think I had 1 year where I picked up 8 new clients in January. You know how many I picked up this year in this economy? I didn't pick up a single New Year client. Do you know that I talked to several gym owners who freaked out? They didn't get new signups. So in this current economy, the whole New Year resolution gym membership thing disappeared. So 2 years in a row, particularly this year, gyms said they didn't get the normal influx they get at all. Right? The last administration destroyed the U.S. economy, like big time. The lockdowns destroyed the economy all over the world. That was the biggest scam ever. Right? That was nothing but a power play to shift money from taxpayers and working class into the hands of more wealthy people. So that was a redistribution of wealth upward. The entire thing was intended to be that way, start to finish. Right? Hey, Benjamin, I'm going to be hated if I answer that. No, I did not. And I'm not anti vax. Right? I'm not anti vax at all. There was no safety testing. They bypassed the FDA's normal procedure for safety testing to rush it out for financial reasons. That whole thing was a financial power play, start to finish. And I'm not saying the virus wasn't problematic or slightly worse than the flu, and the flu is deadly. So people will get mad when you sit and like, dude, the flu kills tens of thousands of Americans every year. The flu is deadly. It's just a souped up flu, really. Well, in terms of statistics, but we shut everything down, and those companies made trillions of dollars off the expense of taxpayers. This was about money, start to finish. That's how I see it. So, but in the case of that, they've rushed all the safety testing. These vaccines did not go through the normal testing procedure for vaccines. Let me be clear, I am not an anti-vaxxer at all. I oppose the anti-vax movement. I think it's kind of dumb. No, I didn't see any of that, Dad. But there was no safety testing, and I'm personally not at risk. I'm also pretty much immune. I caught it one time early on in an airport, and in spite of all their precautions, I had a rough week, and I've never caught it again. I've been exposed multiple times. So I pretty much have immunity. I have the antibody. I have a strong immune system. So I'm not going to bother with an untested vaccine over a disease I'm not personally worried about. And because I work from home, it's not like I'm at risk of contaminating everybody. Yeah. So I've never recaught it. I caught it the one time, rough week, lost my sense of taste and smell for 2 weeks, and then I've been good. I was literally working out with it in blogs. So no, I chose not to. But that's the problem. You take a position like that, then people assume you're part of the anti-vax thing. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. Like, I'm not. But no, for me, it was just a personal risk analysis. Do you think of something like COVID? I don't think we should. I think we should overthrow our governments if they force it again. I think the response should be immediate revolution. If governments try to do this again, they destroyed our economy. They destroyed small businesses. They caused inflation. They destroyed global economies with this. I think if they attempt it again, all countries should immediately rebel and overthrow their leaders and replace them as a response. Look how we did in Texas. When the governor tried to do a short shutdown in one of those businesses, immediately small business, what did we do in Texas? When our governors caved on it, our governor caved and tried to do a short shutdown in a hair salon because they said those sort of businesses needed to be closed, refused to close, and she stayed open. How did Texans respond? 30 men showed up in body armor with ARs and guarded her door from the police closing her down. 30 dudes showed up as an armed protest to keep her door open, to stop law enforcement from shutting her down because she said, I'm not closing. That was the Texas response. Pretty much an army showed up at her parking lot to keep the place open and to give her customers. That's how Texans respond to tyranny. There was a crowd of men, like 30 dudes, showed up in full body armor with ARs to physically prevent police from shutting her doors. This is how you respond to tyranny. This is why we have the Second Amendment. Like, what you gonna do now? Your SWAT team's not big enough to engage 30 dudes in full loadouts. What are you gonna do? You're not doing anything. Door stayed open. This is the simple solution. I don't know why people don't understand this. Why do you guys need your Second Amendment? That's why. They were not allowed to close her hair salon. She was allowed to stay open in spite of the 2-week shutdown on those sort of businesses. Simply an army showed up and stopped police from closing her doors. Done. Tyranny averted. So tell me again, why do citizens need AR-15 and body armor? That's why. So, very simple. What do you mean what happened? Well, nothing happened. Do you think police were going to start a fight with that? Her business stayed open in spite of the close on that sort of business. We did a temporary shutdown here with it. She refused and kept her doors open, and it got on the internet, and a whole army showed up pretty much to keep her doors open. Done. Yeah, you need your Second Amendment. Y'all have an alcohol problem. That's going to be a problem, though. With your level of drinking and no previous firearm culture, this is also a potential disaster. Why peppermint? Statistically, the majority of firearm accidents happen under the influence of alcohol. How much debt? I don't know. It's like 30 or 40 trillion. I forget. It's over 30 trillion now. Yeah. It's such an astronomical number that we'll never get out of it. So that's even why I've said the solution there might be to shut it down and rebrand as a new country and just declare bankruptcy on the old corporation. It might be the solution. And then require the next group to balance the budget, make the Second Amendment a little clearer, and don't use ancient terminology that people can reinterpret. Yeah, so that's the problem, Peppermint. You have no culture of firearm safety, and you're heavy drinkers. And as much as I would love to see it, you're going to see some deaths as a result of this. All right. Yeah, so get rid of the alcohol. Maybe there's your solution. There's your solution. So that's the downside. You don't have a history of a culture built around it. Like the average British citizen doesn't know the 4 laws of firearm safety. This is a problem. It's like I enjoyed listening to your videos about Freud. Very easy to follow. Never knew he took clients on his holidays. Interesting guy. That's my favorite game. Chinese police would. The UK already has a problem with knife crime. Would it be any different? I mean, their knives are pretty deadly. Knives are pretty deadly. Yeah, the problem is lack of a previous culture. Texas being Texans, they would be ready to go to war, DC, if the government takes it away. Yeah, we'd probably launch nukes. People don't understand that. Like, they don't understand Texas at all. Like, I've said that before. Like, so people say, well, if Texas seceded, we just go do this. And I'm like, we would launch nukes as a preliminary warning. We would set one off just as a deterrent, just to say, hey, we're not playing around. That's kind of a Texas root. That is literally our mindset. We think like that. Okay, we want to succeed, and you say no. We'll launch a couple nukes to let you know we're not playing. We have all of them. I mean, we've got a few thousand of them. Let's drop in a couple. You know, that's our mindset. Be like, that was a warning. And people are like, y'all wouldn't like, dude, you don't understand. You do not understand our culture. You don't understand our culture if you think that's a joke. All right, guys, let me get some more coffee. Use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. And a close. No, you have to learn entanglement, right? You have to learn entanglement correctly, Tyrone. All right, and we are back. Hit like fellas gonna be in sight next episode. Freud and Jung worked in tandem for a while. There's a movie based on it, A Dangerous Method. I recommend it. Interesting. No, Tyrone. So here's the funny thing with that. I get haters who say stuff like, "I would just take your girl away." Of like, I have taken tactical handgunning classes and defensive handgunning classes, so it's very silly for them to say that. So if you go take some basic combat handgunning classes, you get training on how to get your weapon unholstered while someone is grappling you, and how to engage them and shoot them while they're grappling you. So weapon retention, being able to get to your weapon and draw it while you're doing floor work. That's actually important. So you can take classes on that. Right. So while someone's grappling you, you need to be able to not only get your weapon out, but retain it and be able to utilize it while on the ground being grappled. And it's totally doable. Can you do a day of a full analysis? No, I don't know how many milliliters of coffee I drink. I mean, I can show you. Hold on, I'll be right back. So the coffee pot was at the top when I started. It's here. I don't know how many milliliters it is. All right, and we're back. Always be aware of who's around you. I was having a debate with Uncle about this. Hey, Tyrone, so just go take a tactical handgunning class. I took my first one like 28 years ago, whatever. How old am I now? I was like 20 years old the first time I took one. Are you concerned about above the RDA? No, I don't think about it or care, honestly. But yeah, situational awareness, guys. It was good practice to scan who was in a room. Yeah, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. You know, definitely people watch their body language. Watch where you sit in restaurants. I make my coffee really strong. So I don't know. Is that a lot of caffeine? I actually don't track or care about caffeine. How do we develop? Tyrone, you need to go. I am not a good teacher for this for you, especially not in a live stream. So I'm not going to be able to teach you situational awareness classes in a live stream. And if I did, I would need to be charging you a lot of money. If I was going to try to teach something like that, it's going to be $100 to watch the stream. Just saying. Yeah. I thought coach first there. No, we're good. But having strategic mind, anticipating your surrounding next move so you can have a very tune, you know. What's been noted by experts, women are far worse at it. It's much more difficult to train women on situational awareness than it is men. Jason, I've decided to stop salting my food to see if my facial water retention we spoke about will decrease. Okay. There. Hey, music, stop asking me stuff like that. You've been warned. You know? Is there any YouTube channels that specialize in this kind of thing? I don't know, Tyrone. Probably not. They're going to be heavily messed with. I don't know. I realized I was having about 2,500 milligrams of sodium per day. That's not that much, honestly. Cut back to only sodium from whole foods. Like 2,500 is considered a fairly healthy range. I don't think you realize how much the average person consumes due to their refined foods. Like you're below average. No. Oh. Well, someone outed themselves. Done. That's simple. I don't play anymore with some stuff. Actually, music, that's your last warning. All right, next. Yeah. You keep asking me personal things. Have you been shot at? I mean, bro, let's stop. All right. Sometimes I see guys walking on the street at night in hoods, but I live in a place I can't carry. Music, I feel like you personally intentionally try to bait me to get info that trolls can make hate videos on, by the way. That definitely is a level of question. And why would it be any of your business? All right. Sometimes I see guys walking on the street at night in his, but I live in a place I can't carry. What do you mean you live in a place you can't carry? What country do you live in? If you're in the United States, there's a way for you to carry. And I hate to say it, I'm going to quote plenty of dudes I've known I've known veterans, for example, who say, I refuse to get a license of any type. They're like, I served my country. The Second Amendment gives me a right to carry. I don't care what the law says. I'm going to carry. I know guys like that, by the way. Hey, Joel, you could look it up on Google. It varies, but I mean, 2,500, I promise you 90% of Americans are consuming more than that. So I'm not advocating that people break the law, but I know a lot of people who that's just their mindset. They just don't care. Situation in Canada. Gotcha. Yeah, never mind. I can't give you advice on Canada. The, so again, to me, it's always comical when I meet people from other places. I literally know people who have those mindsets. I've had those conversations in person with people, who just feel that way. So it's really kind of comical when I hear other perspectives. It's like, wow, we come from different worlds, guys. We come from very different worlds. Um, so, well, I'm not going to be able to give you advice here, Tyrone. Like, I just don't concern myself with these topics for other countries and cultures. I'm just like, get rid of your government. Done. Um, hey, Joel, be careful on 1,000 milligrams of sodium a day. By the way, just make sure you don't get hypernatremia. Yeah. So yeah. And I'm glad I don't have to think like that. I just don't have to. It's why I'm not leaving the US again. I don't have to worry about these things. I don't have to worry about these things. Oh, all right. Hey Joel, are you only listening to me, or have you been researching info about sodium intake and different things medically? I need to be clear. Are you researching this, or are you purely coming to my channel for this? Because if you're doing the latter, I'm gonna say stop. You need to go. Okay, make sure you're reading. Just be aware. Now, if it's winter time, it's not as big of a deal. But you start trying to do 1,000 milligrams of sodium, and you're out sweating, or you're in a summer heat or a hot climate. Just be aware you are taking risks. Like that can turn into problems real quick. Just be aware. Like, just be aware, sodium is an essential nutrient. We do have to have it. Right. So just an FYI, we do have to have it. Mm. Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you, music. I really dislike talking with foreigners about gun stuff. Like, I try to be really nice, but it's very difficult for me to be nice about it. Just an FYI. No, music's in Mexico. It's my understanding. Like, yeah. Oh. Again, cultural context. Understand my upbringing and culture. When I hear people from these countries, without me basically being mean, I just think y'all are a bunch of pussy cucks who need to overthrow your government. Like, sorry, y'all are just cucked into the ground by your government. No, just wow. I just can't. Like, why do y'all put up with this? I don't get it. Damn. But again, this is my cultural specific context and upbringing at play here. But we are affected by our childhoods for life. I struggle to get my head around this. Yeah. I don't get it. But I feel like we turn into these whole conversations and then it kills the stream because most people coming in aren't interested in this. So, I mean, Mexico's definitely rough in some parts. Dude, Mexico's dangerous, especially near the borders. It's a dangerous place. No, this was in Texas. Okay, so you're in Texas. Yeah, most viewers aren't, right? I haven't been to Mexico in a really, 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 really long time, Tyrone. Bro, but many parts of the U.S. are hellscapes in democracy. That's true. That is true. All right, I'm gonna get some more coffee. Coffee getting low. All right, and we are back. Yeah. We were thinking about moving to Texas long term just for the fact I know I can carry there and have a great meeting, right? Depending if you got a career that works here, you know. Oh. But yeah. Depending on what you do. What do you do for a living, Tyrone? No, Texas. Do you live in Canada? You don't even get to say stuff like, "Is Texas expensive?" Yeah, see, Joel, that's just, to me, I just can't. I just can't do it. Tyrone, most of the South in the U.S. in general is pretty low cost of living. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you get into the crime-ridden areas in any major city music, it's like that, man. But the problem is gangs and gang violence is the issue. Get rid of the gangs. Get rid of the flow of drugs. You know, therein lay your solution. You know, I mean the power. They're just tools, dude. I hope y'all kidding, guys. It wouldn't be legal peppermint. That's a whole separate topic. But here's your issue too. Look at the blowback you already have. So what would happen? You know, I mean, in terms of foot pounds, Joel, I don't know. Keep in mind, I'm a very avid, lifelong hand loader and reloader. So to me, it's just energy. It's just they're just tools. You know, they're just a normal part of life. Um, and I think that's the problem. We do have too. Other cultures don't understand, and so that's the thing that you notice whenever someone from another culture they get a hold of, they see it like a toy or oh, so excited, and we're just like, get overly excited. It's just kind of strange to a lot of us. It's like, take it down a notch, guys. And they're not toys, and you know what I mean. But that's the problem too, that level of excitement. And then so you'll notice a lot of times when people from say the UK come over, they get to a range and they're taking their here, they're like, it's a very strange observation in the attitude. It's almost like an overexcitement and like a toy. Um, I'm not going to give my perspective on how games should be dealt with because that would be people wouldn't like my answer. Like, look already the blowback we have over police stuff. I think the military should just be used to take care of the gangs, problem solved. But we also have to stop the flow of drugs. Like until the flow of drugs in the country is stopped, which is again a military matter. I don't know why we don't use our military to simply take care of the cartels, all of them, done. They're saying, well, Mexico wouldn't like it. What are they going to do about it? Just stop. Just get rid of this stuff. For some reason, so right. I'm very aware of music. I came to Nevada and went to the range as a Brit. It was a novel experience. Tyrone, I will no longer be supporting Glock after that situation. I'll probably switch back to Smith and Wesson. I was a Glock fanboy for 10 years. I'm rather disgusted with their move to appease California laws. Yeah, go woke, go broke. And I know a lot of people, some of the pages and stuff I follow, they're saying things like tactical shit. Like they're even like posting, "What's up with this?" They're making fun of it, and I'm kind of just like, I'm done with you guys. The problem is, what two things is Glock famous for? Why are they so popular? One, the absolutely ludicrous level of reliability. But other people have caught up and they've changed their designs. No, EJ, it doesn't add fatigue. But you need to be specific. Okay. That's like asking hunting. So I don't have an answer because I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to need to be very, 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 very specific in what you mean by shooting a gun at the range. I want to know all the way down to round count, what you're shooting, what sort of muzzle breaks. I don't know because I don't have specifics. I don't know who Guy Ferrari is. Music, you think that I don't know. I think they're I know how powerful they are. But do you not think the U.S. military could take care of them? Do you think the cartels could go toe-to-toe with the U.S. Army? I don't think they can, especially with air support, gunships, drones, missiles. I don't think they can. All right. Okay. Right. Aftermarket and parts support, parts compatibility is Glock's other big thing, right? See the issue? Glock is discontinuing all the Gen 4s, all the Gen 5s. I didn't like some of the changes with Gen 5 already. It's like you're kind of knocked a little bit down of what makes Glock. One, I'm not going to get into the specific, but mainly those cold hammer forged barrels being changed to traditional rings and lands, like machined rings instead of cold hammer forging. Like, we have 4 generations of this. So that switch to Gen 5 already, it had some really positive changes, but then you had that. But the parts compatibility, they're discontinuing everything. Gen 4 and Gen 5 have been in production. They're stopping their production this year. They're done. To go to this Series V with the changes to appease California government, because in California, the state of California, all Gen 4 and Gen 5s are banned. They're going to not be legal in the state. These are good. What? But what's going on, Gimby? So this is a problem, Tyrone. And I switched from Smith & Wesson to Glock. Like I have a long history with S&W, right? Since my childhood. My first handgun was a Smith & Wesson also. So I switched over from them to go over to Glock based on some of the crazy independent reliability testing. That was a selling point for me. When independent testers were taking them, the Gen 4s locked in cock with a round in the chamber, dropping them out of helicopters and beating them with sledgehammers and running them over with cars, and they didn't discharge. It didn't fire the round. Okay. Literally throwing them out of a helicopter up in the air onto the ground and then going retrieving them, and they didn't fire. And then they still functioned. Like, that was a strong selling point to me. They're like, you can literally beat it with a sledgehammer and it will not discharge without pulling the trigger. It's like, okay, this is a strong selling point. The reliability is just insane. And it's true. Like, you can pretty much just take a crap in them and not clean them, and they don't ever do it. I tested this before, not pooping. So I took one of my 19s, right? One day to the range. We put 500 rounds of garbage, like that Russian lacquer coated steel surplus, like those steel cartridge ones, and it stinks. I put 500 through that and then threw it on the shelf without cleaning it. But that garbage Russian military surplus stuff, like toll ammo, I think that's what it was called, right? And I threw it on the shelf and didn't clean it. And I took it back with no oil, didn't clean it, dirty as hell, and we put another 500 through it after it sat on the shelf dirty for a week. And it cycled everything perfectly. It started needing a little drops of oil at a certain point. I had to drop some oil in it at about 300 that day. I put a couple drops of oil and it started working again. I just kind of wanted to mess with it myself. And it's like, dude, all right? So, I get it. But the point is, S&W was really good to me. I'm probably going to go back to them, honestly, or 1911s. Like, after they pulled this move, I'm not going to support this foreign company anymore. They have shown that this is exactly the problem. When a European company has something like this, they don't have the values. They do not have the values that we're looking for in pew culture. They don't. And they're willing to cave to California. It's like, dude, I'm done with your company. Like, that's it. I'm never owning another non-American made firearm. That's it. I'm done. You can keep your Euro trash junk over there. Done with it. It's the politics that they're willing to attach to it. Done. Y'all can go be a bunch of slaves. And that's my point. I'm simply not going to support a business anymore that did that. I'm just not. I'm done with them. Go be a bunch of cucks and slaves. I'm done. Right. So again, what do we got, Joe? Joe is always like that, dude. Yeah, I'm not mincing my words. So pretty much, I'm probably going to mess with mostly S&W Colt. Kimber, maybe. I like Kimbers. 1911s. Joel is always like that. Man, what are you doing, Joe? Yeah, he always types crazy like that. That's just his thing, man. Oddly enough, I'm interviewing Nice Max. Which company are you interviewing for? Joe has a knife kit. What exactly is a knife kit? Oh, man. You don't have to say what position it is for the company. I'm just curious. Which is it a big one or is it a smaller? Joe brings a knife kit to a gunfight. Oh man, they warned you about that in Untouchables, man. Sean Connery told you about that DMA. Okay. I'm gonna look that up. I don't know that company. DMA. Oh, McMillan and Associates. What? No, that's tax consulting. Corporate. I don't know what they do. It looks like they machine aluminum. Aircraft grade aluminum. All right. They make parts and uppers. Yeah, I can see that. Well, they're machining aircraft grade aluminum and military grade aluminum. So I can see that. They probably make a lot of slides and AR parts. That's the Illuminati, right? Right. Yeah. Oh man, people are going off on that picture already. They're making fun of the keto people. Yeah, I mean that's hilarious. Like all these keto people go on and on about insulin resistance while they completely ignore all the direct research we have in direct clinical trials and in the metabolic ward that high saturated fat directly causes insulin resistance also. It's like the level of ignorance. Like this has been tested pretty heavily, and we know that just like really high refined fructose intake, right? Just like really refined fructose intake impacts it, so does saturated fat. It's not an either or, it's both. And yeah, it absolutely causes insulin resistance. So yeah, these keto people get crazy with this. Like there's a lot of keto people who are insulin resistant, and you can see it in their blood work. I mean, Sean Baker's blood work shows signs of insulin resistance. When you're reasonably lean and jacked and you're still insulin resistant, I mean, damn. Like you really got to be messing up at this point. You just can't with people. What do you think about? I don't know what that means. What are you talking about, music? Keto is a pain to maintain to begin right. Yeah, it's fascinating. And I'm not saying low carb diets can't have their uses, but come on, people, use some common sense. It's like they ignore logic and stuff. I don't know what that is. And I build ARs. So what do you mean by force reset trigger? I mean, I'm fine with regular mil spec triggers, but if I want precision, I like Geisley. So the one that I put on here the other day, you saw that little flat dark earth one. I have a Geisley in there. It's got a $200 trigger. But I don't know what do you mean by like, I don't understand what you're asking me. Do you know anything about triggers? So that's going to be my next question. Yeah, we need to just get rid of the ATF problem solve. Force reset. I don't understand. Look, all these little nifty tools are cute and everything, but just a good high quality match grade trigger, you can fire just as fast as full auto, but with proper control. Like just a good trigger. Right. Cold Steel makes pretty decent stuff. Yeah. No, Cold Steel's pretty good company. They're not bad at all. They make some good swords too. Right. Yeah, just disband the ATF. I mean, people worry about this, but you guys have watched me put up footage with a factory Glock trigger. Right? You guys have seen me on camera before put two 15 round mags in the center of a target in 14 seconds. 15 round, reload, 15 round, 14 seconds. And they're all in the center of the target on the camera. I've done this on camera with a factory crappy Glock trigger. Come on, guys. So stop and think about this with all these silly things, triggers like that, bump stocks, the double binary. Just stop, guys. Learn how to shoot. If you can't take a factory Glock trigger or a mil spec AR and fire multiple rounds accurately per second, you suck. You need to work on your fundamentals. You suck. That's like walking into a gym and not being able to deadlift 275 as a grown man. Sorry, fix your fundamentals. Just stop. Not having it. No excuses for this nonsense. Jesus Christ. The ATF's only real goal is to keep us weak. Yeah, exactly. You know. I don't drink any iced coffee. I mean, my ice maker's full, but I haven't used any ice. Like, I have ice for guests. That's the only reason I have an ice maker. I need to clear it out. It gets old. They be getting that old ice, you know. I don't even use ice. Like, honestly. I need to clear it out every now and then. I feel like about every 2 months I need to clear it out just in case. I don't want people getting 6-month-old ice. Oh man. Yeah. No, I don't drink iced coffee. If you work for the ATF, you can't play guitar at a bar. What? Yeah. Of course, that was always the running joke. I always remember, of course, I don't condone the alcohol or tobacco, but I remember someone saying that. They were like, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. It sounds a lot cooler than it really is. Yeah, Tyrone, I'm not big into all this going off grid nonsense. You, saying something is for ladies. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. People like iced coffee. That's their thing, man. I just don't really do it. I just don't really put ice in anything these days. You know. I still put ice in my stuff. We don't put ice in our stuff. I'm just not a big ice cold drink person. I just don't need it. I mean, at restaurants or whatever. But even my water, I just put the gallon jug in the fridge. You know, problem solved. Right now, my water is cold. Hold on, I gotta post a group meme real quick. Hold on, where are we at in the rotation? I gotta get the Halloween memes up to the groups before Halloween finally hits. Where did they go? Gotta keep them in order. All right, we did that. Gotta do the Karen Halloween costume meme. All right, back over to you guys. I'm not a fan of ice. Yeah, I like ice and diet soda, right? Too cold irritates my throat. Peppermint has a sensitive throat. What's your favorite make and model? I like Mossbergs. I like the 590s. I have a 500, but I've had my 500 forever. It's hidden in my kitchen. So I've never messed with Rock Island. I'm kind of old school there. I've only really ever personally messed with Remingtons and Mossberg. My grandpa had an extensive shotgun collection, though. He had a lot of Brownings, but he was a sportsman. He didn't have tactical shotguns. He always kept a shorter barrel pump action, though, in his living room, just in case. Heard someone mention earlier, Australia earlier, he had a video on what to use. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Hey, training hard in powerlifting like actually hard, making sure absolutely no reps left in the tank while having twice a day frequency for all lifts, squat percentages, a nice way to become. That's a good way to get hurt. Radiant. To be fair, man, no, dude, doing 2 a days like that and training like that, you're going to get injured. Honestly, no, I don't. I don't think that that's a particularly good idea. Right? Your injury risk is going to get real high if you're not careful. Makes sense. I have a good old Mossberg. It won't jam or anything. Yeah. So I've got a Mossberg 500 that I bought when I was 18, and I still have it. So I need to do barrel. The barrel's got rust on it. I haven't been able to fully scrub off it. It's that old. So I've got an 18-inch on it. Yeah, I really need to replace the barrel. But so yeah, I mean, I've pretty much had it over 30 years. What do you mean that they want to get rid of? Just go to Texas Gun Trader, dude. You live in Texas, go to Texas Gun Trader. Sell it. You can go to Texas Gun Trader sometimes and unload one the same day you put it up. Somebody will just come buy it. Check out the VR60 shot. And that's legal, by the way. Again, I'm not advising anything illegal, dude. This is Texas, man. There is no transfer. There's no private sales or private sales. You can't knowingly sell to a felon. That's it. If you ask them, are you a felon? And they say no, you're now legal. So apparently he said Texas, so it does not work. I don't know what to tell you then, music. It doesn't work. Just throw it in the dumpster. Check out the VR60 shot for somebody. Max, I've seen plenty of the AR look shotguns. They've been out for a while. Multiple companies make those at this point. I don't know, music. If you can't unload it or pawn it or whatever, just throw it in the dumpster. If you don't know how to fix it. Right. Oh. But I'm sure you can find someone who'll buy it. Yeah. Do you even know what it is? I mean, what is it? Yeah. Recovery, but I agree with Tyrone there, dude. Your recovery needs to be king. Yeah, definitely don't need to be hitting the big list. So you're going to end up getting hurt. I'm telling you just how it works. Your injury risk is going to go way up at that point. Hold on, I'm gonna be right back. Not just really coffee. I got other stuff. Just give me just a couple minutes, guys. All right, we back. Like it's been hit. What was the greatest piece? I don't know what the greatest piece is. It's kind of hard to answer that. Music, if it's inoperable, then yeah, there's no issue with that. Yeah. I'll check our messages here. All right. I don't know about any of that, Tyrone. Maybe. I'm off to the gym. Catch you later, Coach. Take care, David. So we'll get some GPP done today. Also, but I'll sit in here for a while with you guys. So again, doing too many videos is the problem here. Long videos like this are good because this keeps views flowing in. GPP day, the best day, right? Absolutely. I feel like I can throw a little bicep work in on some of them if I really feel like it, mainly because it doesn't affect my benching and stuff the next day. Like biceps are just not used. I might do some bicep work at the end. But I'm doing all that overhead. I feel like the overhead is starting to improve. I mean, I'm not locking those. What do you guys think? Peppermint, Tyrone, everybody. What do you guys think on the overhead work yesterday? I had a couple of people. They're like, "Wow, that's actually looking better." What do you guys think on that? Music. What type of pew pew is it? Tell us what. I don't know what it is. Shot one. Yeah. What is it? No, you can't be sentenced up to California. You will go to prison for taking a non-California compliant firearm into California. You will go to prison. California will put you in prison for bringing a non-compliant firearm across that border. Yeah, you can't play with California. Now, you're talking about going all the way music. So you're talking about going from Texas stuff over to California. California is a different ballgame, dude. They will put you in prison if you get caught bringing a non-compliant weapon across that state border. Oh, so 2011. That's not even a real, bro. I thought we're talking about real stuff. Come on, man. Never mind. Bolt actions, right? Yeah, that's probably fine in California. I wouldn't worry about it, bro. You can probably sell it to a pawn shop for $20 if it's not working correctly. Maybe. Because you're going to rotate farmers walks. I need to keep them out for a bit. We're getting closer to the lockouts. I feel like they're getting okay. Yeah, it looks better. Just that's what I'm doing, dude. Doing lightweight. I'm just going to keep working it. Rotated farmers walks out. It was too much. Yeah, that's the problem I'm having. When I squat and deadlift 3 days a week, and now I'm overhead pressing too. That's all that standing work. Those farmers walks they're too much on the recovery end. And it's just my lumbar. Like my low back is cramping on a squat. It's like this is not good. I love farmers walks, but it's it's a total net recovery issue for me right now. You know, and I think it's because, again, the weights I'm using. It's like I'm literally over here doing 7 reps of 405 on a back squat the next day after farmer's walks, and my left side of my back starts cramping, like the lumbar, or not the lumbar, but the erectors on the left side, they're cramping. And I mean, it's not pleasant. We're talking almost can't walk for a minute cramp, you know, and then it re-hits again. Like it doesn't hurt during the deadlifts. But then when I go to unload the plate on the deadlifts and I start unracking the plates, I feel it again. So it's like, it's problematic. So yeah, I just can't have them in there. And it didn't start doing that till I started doing the farmer's walks heavier when I started bumping the weight up. So I need to leave them out. Just do reverse hypers, more load the reverse hypers up heavier and take them out for a bit. It's mainly because my frequency of squatting and deadlifting is not conducive to those farmer's walks. And I have a habit of overtraining, by the way. It's just my nature, right? Yeah, it's just too much loading, you know, especially when it's like, oh, let's do 7 reps of 405 on the back squat and then do, 6 reps of 500 on the deadlift and then go do a bunch of weighted carries the next day and then try to do the same squat and deadlift again the next day. It's too much on all of that. So I'm going to have to take the loaded carries out if I want to sustain those sort of workloads on the barbell lifts. But like the throws and stuff are great. So all the jumping, throwing, the sled work, that stuff's solid. Right. I need to add more sled volume. I feel like I need a little more sled work. You carry it. Oh, God. That was to you, music. All right. Jason, I also have a habit of overtraining. I have to adjust, but it's something I have to live with, right? I got to remind myself. It's like even other coaches are like, dude, you're 48. You can't be doing this crazy shit. Amount of training you do. Yeah, it's just not. I'm the same way, Tyro. Hey, music. I don't own anything weaker than 9mm. I don't carry anything weaker than 9mm. I'm reluctant to even endorse 380 auto. Some of the really, really, really good modern defensive ammo is okay. Sorry, but minimum for EDC is 9mm. You're not going to convince me otherwise. 22, no, just stop. Here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to kill you and take your gun away, and they're going to bleed out 20 minutes later. That's what's going to happen. Not saying people don't die from the 22. You're going to really piss them off, and it's going to take 20, 30 minutes to catch up to them after you dump all of them in there. So somebody's going to basically kill you. And then they might bleed out in a half hour. They don't get to a hospital quick enough. I'm just telling you how it is. So, man, you better hope somebody doesn't have a knife and you bust out a 22 on them. They're going to slice and dice you like a Thanksgiving turkey, and then they're going to go to the hospital and get the bullets dug out, and hopefully before they bleed out. You're going to really, really piss somebody off who has a knife. You're going to make them really mad. They're going to fuck you up. And they're going to go get them dug out and get stitched up. Yeah. Dude, you're playing. Stop. I'm not saying you might not get lucky, but still, dude, just statistically. I do swimming on the fifth day. I think I could probably get away with more. Might work on some GPP. Yeah, there you go, Peppermint. I got coaching slots open, bro. Mm. All right. Yeah, you could always work in the GPP though, Peppermint. Definitely. It's 50. What is it really 50 degrees outside? What? Hold up. Yeah, music 650, you could have got a really good 9mm or 45. I just, bro, I can't. I can't with you kids. Oh, man. All right, what do we got going on? I thought Texas was hot. It is hot. No, we get cold weather. But yeah, man, it's 50. Well, the sun's not up. It was at night. Like it was 80 degrees yesterday afternoon, right? The afternoon, it was like sitting at 80. Um, I mean, it does freeze. It'll get cold. We get cold rain. That's what's going to suck for some of my outdoor stuff. Uh-oh, what happened? Yeah, 50 is cold, man, when you're from Texas. But Peppermint, keep in mind being climatized to the climate. So when I go to the UK, I mean, nice, lukewarm, cool weather. People are talking about the heat and the humidity over there. It's like, you guys are kidding, right? It's like 85. It's just nice little pleasant, you know, nice little pleasant afternoon, 85 Fahrenheit. Rich, like, oh, we're over here dying, mate. Oh, we're going to get a heat stroke. I'm like, dude, it's not even 100. Yeah. Bro, you're not even capping 100 yet. What are you talking about? Heat stroke. Right. So we got a cold front. So it rolled in 50 last night. There were reels coming through from Texas. I saw in my feed talking about the cold front. Yeah. I've been to Ireland during the short 1 month summers. They have, and it was hot. Right? Yeah, I was in the UK, didn't really get hot. Yeah, then we talked to Scandinavians, Russians, say you call 30 Fahrenheit cold, right? So it's really a matter of what you're climatized to and what you grew up with, guys. This is really how the situation works, right? Right. I was just Googling some of the coldest temperatures in Texas. I mean, no, it does get cold here sometimes, dude. It freezes. But keep in mind, North Texas is way different. I'm not in North Texas. Right? I'm in the southern half. All right. 15 Fahrenheit lowest you can get, and that's rare. That's still could do. 15 Fahrenheit is cold as hell. Keep in mind, though, I did live up in the mountains for 3 years. So, I mean, I've been in real cold. Usually winter weather at about 25 Fahrenheit. Yeah. All right. That's the part you're leaving out is that it's cold and rainy. Yeah, exactly. Training in cold environment isn't ideal. Got to make sure you're hot or you risk injury. Yeah. Yeah. When I used to train out in the cold, it was totally different than training in this heat. Like people are like, do you warm up? I'm like, bro, I step into the garage to warm up. I'll be turning on all those fans so I don't die. Training in cold environments than I do. Yeah. North Texas about 20 degrees. Yeah. It's a big difference. Keeping in mind for the people overseas, 1,500 kilometers north to south. Texas, the southern tip versus the northern tip, 1,500 kilometers. There's going to be some slight temperature differences. Yeah. Actually, used to live in Manchester. Yeah. Yeah, I went to a convention for tech stuff in Manchester and it rained the entire time. Yeah. That's the thing I don't like is that here when it gets cold, it gets rainy. It's cold and rainy when we do have winter. So it's not like snowing, but it's like I would almost rather go in the snow because you can stay dry. But man, it'll be like, oh, it's 34 and raining. Great. I don't want to go run in that. You know, on rainy days, you see some bins piled up with broken umbrellas. Yeah, how big Texas it sucks sometimes. Right. So. Yeah, so again, context. So music over here is talking about being in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right? So here's your context. So for the Brits, for me being in Houston, which is still not that far south, to just get up there to that next big city is like, let's just go from Exeter to Scotland. So people say stuff like, oh, well, whatever, like Chris Jones, he's just up in the next city up. It's not that long of a trip. He's just the next city north of you, right? Yeah, bro, that's a 4-hour drive on the highway without stopping. If we don't stop, that's a 4-hour drive. And I'm north of Houston, so I'm outside the city limit. For me to just jump on like I-45, it's 4 hours on the interstate. They call the interstate the motorway, right? Because you don't have states. 3 hours. You 3? I thought it was 4. Yeah, our roads are way worse, I think. Yeah, true. No, it's just smooth sailing. So like our interstates are, it's like 4 lanes, smooth pavement, 70 mile an hour. Phew, right? There's no stops. There's no lights on those big interstates unless you get off the exit. Yeah, the highways. Yeah, they don't have big highways, so they don't understand what we mean by a true interstate. So like I-10, right? I-10, because we've done this before. We've been to Disney World when I was growing up. Like if I wanted to just go to Georgia or Florida, I could just literally hop on I-10 going out of Houston, and it's a straight shot with no stoplights, no stops to go all the way to Georgia or Florida. Just one thing, and that's like 2,500 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers, right? And we're talking 4-lane highways, no bumps, no potholes, boom, right? So, and I think the UK they don't grasp that. The US is massive, but we need all these interstates, and this is for trucking purposes, travel purposes. Like our trucks and stuff need to be able to get around, and they need to be able to just go through with no stops. So, other than fuel stops and sleeping stops, or to get food, we need to have big enough roads that all of our trucks and shipping can just drive at high speed all the way across the country. Yeah. Yeah, bro, I ain't trying to speed on Texas interstates these days, man. You know what I mean, bro? Like Texas Highway Patrol is no joke. Right? I grew up with Smokey in the band. You got a Texas bubblegum machine, right? I think the U.S. is too big. Yeah, they also have a lot of gas stations in the UK or petrol, right? So, yeah, I'm not trying to go Houston to Dallas in 3 hours. Come on, you're from Texas. You know exactly how Texas Highway Patrol is, right? I don't think about vegan gains at all, man. Other than when you guys mention Richard, I don't even think about him. That's my thoughts. He doesn't even exist in my world for the most part. I couldn't really care. He's a year from Mexico. Well, he was saying Mexico before. Now he's talking about being in Dallas Fort Worth area. So yeah, bro, ain't nobody trying to go Houston to Dallas in 3 hours. Not saying you can't do it, but man, DPS catches you going 90 and a 70. Not saying we haven't all done it, but just saying you got to know what roads you're getting away with this on. I'm not doing it on 45. You lost your mind. You can go 20, 30 over on I-45 in Texas. Yeah, it does me better that whole. Yeah, Dallas is probably honestly the roughest city in Texas, like that. Now El Paso though, because of the cartels, right? Paso and Laredo are pretty bad, but Houston, you just have to know where you can and can't go. Like Houston, it can be anything from pretty much a war zone ghetto to, extremely rich, wealthy neighborhoods, and you just got to know the different areas. And even if you're not wealthy, if you're on the outskirts of the wealthy areas, it's super safe because all that private security and stuff. So like where I used to live, it was really, really well handled. So when I lived over at that condo that I used to do all my videos in, I was there for 5 years. So I was in the upper Kirby area. So because we were right on the edge of one of the really like walking distance, like 10 minutes on foot to the, $10 million houses with their big gated community, and then the private security and stuff coming in and out. And then HPD patrolled that area really heavy. Like the crime was super low because of it. Like it was very, very safe just because it was that close to River Oaks. River Oaks being gated, all gated, of course, like that 10-foot wall around it, but still. Oh, that's right. I'm in Arkansas. No, you are, cutie. Bro, we don't believe you. All right. But the point being, music. Yeah, dude. Nobody in their right mind decides they're gonna go on up I-45 and try to make Dallas in 3 hours. You're taking a hell of a gamble. Like, what are the odds you're gonna get caught? Like by DPS? 10%, 15%. That's a heck of a gamble. Maybe 20% chance. You might get away with it a couple times, but you're playing the odds. Nobody's trying to do that. And damn good and well, this is DPS, man. They catch you going 25 over, they're searching every inch of your vehicle. You better not have a joint in your car. Nothing, dude. They're not going to play with you because they're already possibly taking you into jail for that limit. Your car is already possibly getting impounded. Yeah, you don't play with the highway patrol out here. Yeah, you're done. Because you're speeding like that, Houston to Dallas, they want to know what you got in that car. What are you doing? Especially that route. They're looking for any reason to search your car for a couple kilos of coke. They're looking for anything for probable cause on that route. They're looking to see, are you transporting underage Mexican girls in your trunk? You got a kilo of cocaine. You transporting sex slaves. You transporting drugs. which, by the way, I don't think people are aware of the sex slavery problem here because of the border. Like, people are just oblivious to it. You know, it's a major problem. So it's like when people say, "Oh, you're open border." Really, I think having an open border in Texas is extremely racist. So you support slavery. That's my response. So you're a racist. You support ownership of brown people like it's property. When you say open border, that is what I hear. So you want a sex slave. That you're believing in this. You think it's good. Right. State trooper in Texas. Yeah, state troopers make good money. Dude, it's a fairly elite police force. Like, it's actually hard to get in. But yeah, they actually make good money. DPS, the highway patrol gets paid pretty well. But think about how much stuff they do, how much stuff they confiscate. Dude, they be taking your cars. So, dudes out there, all those muscle cars get converted back into DPS cars or resold, they confiscate them. Because every time they catch you committing a felony, so every person they stop transporting drugs, every person they stop transporting various stuff like that, they keep those vehicles. They take all of it. Coach thoughts on the Trump? They do seem to be. I agree with that, James. Slowly but surely. The highway patrol doesn't play here, dude. Same thing, they confiscate cash. I mean, because think about all the drug trafficking because of Mexico coming through the country. So those interstates are a big deal. So you start thinking about that, of why are those big interstates through those major transport hubs? Dude, DPS hammers those because they catch so much drugs, so much cash. They confiscate the vehicles, sell the vehicles, keep some of them, convert them into their vehicles. Damn, that Dodge Hellcat, we can repaint it and put some lights on it. But they drive stuff like that. You get out there on DPS, you'd be like, dude, DPS out here with 600, 800 horsepower. Their interceptors are out here running Hellcats and stuff sometimes. They're with 800 horsepower. They're police interceptor. Right. We're back over to the original Mad Max, but they confiscate cash. Yeah. I watched the video of the cop stuff. Some guy said his life savings trunk. Yeah. You gotta watch that, man. Oh yeah, dude. Where he's from Mexico? Mm-mm. Probably Laredo, maybe because it's close to the border, right? I could be wrong. But I'm not thinking of Laredo. Hold on. I've never been to Laredo. I'm not sure. I could have completely misguessed where it is. I think I did. So I'm just thinking of El Paso. Now Laredo, dude. Look where Laredo is. You kidding me? Bro. You can't be right there at the border like that. That's not going to, no. Let me check the crime. Oh, really? Slightly higher than average violent crime rate compared. I'm surprised. Okay. Overall crime. Oh, hell. All right, that's crazy to me. It's right there at the border. Never mind. I digress. I think he was. I'm not 100% sure, but the cops took it all, and so they keep that. Well, they'll use it for the state. So again, Texas uses all that stuff for funding. So your law enforcement, a lot of the law enforcement here is funded by this stuff. So DPS hammers those highways. That's why the tickets are so high. Like, dude, that's why they impound those vehicles on felonies. They sell those vehicles. They sell the assets. All the stuff they confiscate gets auctioned. And that stuff pays for our state law enforcement. So they hammer you. Like you don't play around on the Texas highways, dude. It's not a joke. You don't litter, you don't speed, you don't throw crap out your window. You don't mess with Texas. Dude, they catch you throwing a soda can out your window, they're hitting you for $500-700 straight up. You know? Right? So it's a funding machine. And there's so much interstate traffic. Yeah. So you can't play on those highways, dude. Like if you say, well, I didn't know the law. Well, the law was clearly posted. You had a speed limit, and we have a high speed limit. Let's be fair. And they won't hit you for only 5 over. So if it's a 70, they're probably not pulling you over till 76. But I mean, you're allowed to drive 70 miles an hour with no stops. I mean, that's pretty reasonable. Like you can run straight through the entire state of Texas if you have enough fuel at 70 miles an hour without stopping. You know, we got pretty good transportation. It's pretty straightforward. And you can get through any part of it that way because we have multiple crisscrossing ones. All right. Like 3 major interstates run through Houston. Just through Houston. So you can literally go from Houston to Chicago. You can go from Houston all the way to Atlanta. Like it's a straight shot. Like thousands of miles away. So it's again, but they hammer those highways, dude. It's not a joke. Like you get caught littering, you throw a bottle or a trash wrapper out your window and DPS catches you, they're going to find the hell out of you. They catch you going 20 over, then they find any contraband in your car, they're keeping your car. It's like, you know, you have any felony possession stuff in that car, dude, and you're going 20 over, they're taking your car. Is it 85 on some of the highways now? Man, it shows how little I've been driving out lately. Long distance. When did they raise it? The standard is 70. No. Standard is still 70 miles an hour. It's the default. There are specific highways designated up to 85. No, that's only, I've never even been on that highway in my entire life, the one that goes to 85. There's one highway. So, but they can raise it to 75. I've seen some 75s. I've never seen an 85. But yeah, so the point is, you know, you don't really want to go play on the highways. It's not really a game out here. But we come back over to the point, don't speed, don't own slaves, don't have illegal drugs on you. You know what I mean? It's really not that hard. People are like, oh, it's super strict there. It's like, but it's not, man. Don't have cocaine or a sex slave. Don't go 100 miles an hour on the highways. You know, don't be drunk in public. Like, it's really easy to stay out of trouble here. The toll road. Yeah. Okay. So the toll road out there. I haven't been on it. I've never been on it. So, you know, and then people hear like the home defense laws. Like, don't break into someone's house. Don't hit people. Like, if you just follow these simple rules, it's really easy to stay out of trouble here. Yeah, going 85 feels crazy. You know? Like, literally just behave yourself. Don't cuss in public. Oh, that one throws other people off too, dude. People from other states, man. People from New York. Oh my God, they're the worst. Like you have to literally tell them, you can't act this way. Stop. Every time you get someone from like New York City or Brooklyn or somewhere who comes down to Texas because a friend brings them or they're here to visit somebody, like you have to tell them you can't act this way. You cannot act like that. You can't run around dropping the F word walking down the street. Like you can't scream it. You can't do this stuff. Like you have to behave like a civilized human being in public till they get that ticket. Oh, you were dropping the F word in front of women and children out on the public street. Here's your ticket, $500. You were intoxicated in public walking down the street. Well, we're going to go spend the night in county jail. I guess you can talk to the judge on Monday. You can't be intoxicated in public. You can't do stuff like that. Though we are strict on things like that. But you can carry your piece. You can wear your 45 on your belt. You can wear your Bowie knife on your belt. No problem. You play Crocodile Dundee, go for it. Just don't take it out without a reason. You got to have a reason. So it's fine. Yeah, but definitely the highways. You don't play on the highways. It's a real bad idea. We might get it. Maybe we could do, but I don't know, where would we build it to? The problem is, which cities would it be between? If they did a high-speed rail, I can tell you here's where you're going to see it. It's going to be Houston to Austin, right? It's going to be Houston to Austin if they do one. That's the only one that really makes sense. Should literally be downtown Houston to downtown Austin. That's what we would see. I think that throws people off. They're like, wait, you have all these freedoms, but you can't cuss out in public? Well, no. Why would you want to? Why would you want to behave like that out in the public street? A lot of stuff you can do, you just can't do that. So again, don't behave like a savage. Right? How's it hanging? Low and to the right. Let's see. Low and to the right. Gotcha. But you missed all the discussion of traveling and speeding in the Texas Highway Patrol. Like that's one place you don't mess around in Texas is on the interstates here. We had a whole long discussion as to why, because DPS's main job is to confiscate and raise money, stop the drug trafficking, stop the sex slavery, and so they're out here. They confiscate the hell out of everything, Yeah. Like you don't want to. So we were having that discussion. So he was one of the guys said, "Well, no, you can get from Houston to Dallas in 3 hours if you're a daredevil." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." Interstate 45, doing that drive in 3 hours, the odds of DPS popping you is high. And I told the guy, "You better not have any drugs in your car. You better not have anything illegal in that car. They're going to keep your car. They're going to confiscate it and auction it. And you're going to jail. Like you're going to prison." Like you don't play on Texas highways, on our interstates. Because they confiscate everything. You really mess up. But even then, you don't litter. You get caught littering, it's like $500. You throw something out the window driving down the freeway or the highways. That's why we have the signs everywhere that says "Don't mess with Texas." That's your warning. Like, do you throw trash out your window on a Texas highway? That's a hell of a fine. And you're not out running DPS. They be out there 6, 7, 800 horsepower. And they're interceptors. Mm-mm. Yeah, you guys don't have the same sort of like interstate highways that we have. It's not the same usually. It's all 4 lanes, one way, no stops running all the way through the state. I mean, we have to. We're 1,500 kilometers across. We got to be able to travel through, get goods in and out. So, but because we have that open border, there's so much drug trafficking and sex trafficking that comes through. So yeah, DPS is looking for anything. If you're out there, you mess up on the highways. They're looking for any reason to be able to legally search your vehicle to check for drugs or transporting people. Yeah. Yeah, it arouses suspicion. Exactly. But then they can get probable cause pretty easy. Well, why was he going 25? Why was he going 100 miles an hour or 90 miles an hour on the interstate? Was he under the influence of drugs? But they're already see. The problem is like they've already got you though when you're hitting those sort of things. Like you're going 25 over on an interstate already has a high speed road. Like you can go pretty damn fast, right? You can go pretty fast. So when you hit those felony limits, they're confiscating your vehicle anyways. So we don't really need probable cause. We have you on a felony. You're going to jail and they're taking your car. So they're going to search it. And then they find anything illegal in there, they're keeping that vehicle. Then they're going to auction it. Oh, we found cocaine in there. Or whatever. They found meth. All right, they're keeping your car. That's now Texas property. You were out on the interstate doing it. You're not. This is no longer. Hey, you're in the city laws. You're out there in Texas. You're not dealing with HPD or Austin PD anymore. So they're used to dealing with enormous amounts of crime of that nature. So it's like they just take your cars. They take them, sell them, and it funds all of it. All right. They fine you for everything. But it's so much interstate traffic. So it's not necessarily Texans being hit. It's people coming through from other places who don't follow the rules. Well, you're going to get hit with some stuff, man. You come through here pulling that, you might go to jail. They keep your car and drop a fine on you. Yeah, and don't mess with Texas. Why were you running 95 and carrying drugs through our state? You know, again, it's not hard, just basic rules, you know. So, like, we're pretty harsh, but it's not like our rules are excessive, you know. Um, our penalties seem excessive to people, though. They're like, they'll put you in prison for life. Like, yeah. And we do mean life, right? They'll execute you. Yeah. Yeah, they're nice. Well, we're very polite. We're very polite, like as a people. Like, we're super nice. Just, you know, they're super nice because you're behaving, right? But you don't come through here acting disrespectful or like a thug. It's not going to go well. You go do that in the hood, and they'll kill you. You don't got to worry about the normal citizens. The Crips and Bloods will take care of you. You go act like a thug. Go do it in the hood, and then the other thugs will take care of you. So, yeah, no, I mean, we're super polite, but you don't want to do certain things. Context is everything, though. Yeah. No, I mean, but he's right. Like, we're one of the most polite cultures you'll come through. Like, everyone is nice, everyone's polite, but you don't want to start breaking laws. And again, it's not like our laws are strict. Our laws are fairly not strict, but our penalties are way beyond what most people are used to. You know, they're played like the UK, or say, you know, where Lars is from, things that might get you 10 years in prison will get you executed here. Right. Yeah, those vehicles usually acquire with drug money. That's why they just confiscate them. You know, you know, like stuff that it seems lesser in other countries can get you killed here. You know, don't murder people. It's not a good idea. You know, we're talking about laws in Texas and strictness, and we're talking about the highway patrol and how you don't come through Texas and mess around on the highways. Just you can't play like that. Like, come through Texas and you go speeding 25 over the limit down the highway, and you have a bag of cocaine on you, your life is pretty much over. You basically just threw your life away. That car is about to be impounded, auctioned, sold to pay for the highway patrol, and you're going to prison. Sorry, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Oh, you coming through Texas and you threw a Coke can out the window of your car going down the highway. You done messed up, bro. Yeah. Generally more polite compared to, yeah, that's true. And Texas is considered more polite than the rest of the US. Like, we're excessively polite. Like, no, I mean, people who come here are shocked. They're all yes, ma'am, and no, sir, and they hold doors for you. Yeah, New Yorkers have problems when they come down here. So you missed the conversation, Solon. We were pointing out that anytime someone comes from New York City, it is the worst. Like, you have to explain to them how to behave in public. And I'm like, I've had to deal with this a couple times and I've seen it. Like, New Yorkers don't understand. You can't behave like that. You will get a $500 ticket and possibly spend the night in jail for acting like a New Yorker. Right? You can't walk through downtown Houston or downtown Austin acting like you're in New York. Okay. You can't scream and yell and bellow and drop profanities in front of women and children. Right? You can't act like an uncouth barbarian who drops the F word 15 times where police officers hear you doing it in front of children. You're screwed. You are in trouble, my friend. Best case, you're walking out of there with a $500 ticket. Worst case, you got mouthy with the police officer when you already were breaking the law. And then you started cussing at the police officer. After he already caught you breaking the law by cussing in front of the children in public. You already broke the law. You just broke the law, dude. Yeah. Like you can't behave like that. Limitless, I don't know that I can help you with that, man. That sounds like a performance. It sounds like a porn addiction issue still. Yeah, that's a porn addiction problem, bro. All right, guys, I'm gonna be right back. All right, we're back. Viagra's not going to help you with that problems. It got light real fast. Well, it's not real fast. It's 7:15. It's darker out there than it looks on the screen. Yeah, but it's cold, man. It's 50 degrees out there, man. I'm gonna have to be out there chilly in my shorts later. Yeah, just keep going. Large is right, man. You're in shape. You work out. 50 degrees. That's right. Tree 50. Where? It was about that time that I noticed that Girl Scout was about 8 stories tall and was a crustacean from the Paleolithic era. All right. And I said, "Oh, damn it, Loch Ness Monster." Oh, he was so mad. I wish I couldn't finish easily. Eventually she gets tired and says, "I have stamina, even though it's just for 30 minutes. Well, just keep going. What's the problem, Limitless? If you have to, man, just imagine you're with a more attractive girl. Close your eyes and just pretend. It'll help. That's not right, man. I'm good for 30 minutes. I don't know. That's normal. That's average. Even if you finish, you just keep going. Okay. Not like you have to stop. Now we know why you're called Limitless. Right? He didn't have a girlfriend. This is his friends with benefit. I'm griefed by my mindset. Hold on, I got to make a post real quick, and I will be back to you, lovely people. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. All right. Where we at? Real course for a record, Beckett? I don't know. Maybe. A lot of times it tries to disconnect me. Hey, cutie, well, you need to quit making all this nonsense up. I mean, we already know you're a troll with a fake account. No need for you to start creating lies and stuff about deadlifts. Just stop. I don't know, Roar, of course. I don't know what sort of views it's getting, though. Who knows? The problem is it got no supers, though. Though, well, yeah, we're having a good end of the month, anyways. Mm. But it might be a record breaker live. It hadn't picked up many subscribers, though, so I'm thinking the views have not been phenomenal. Yeah, well, why is that a problem, right? Tyrone, no, I mean, I get it. I'm not going to go into my own personal stuff, but it takes me a long time, way longer than average. It's problematic sometimes in a relationship. Women say stuff like, oh, they complain about guys finishing too quick, but they're also not used to guys who really have a lot of stamina, right? They're not used to guys who have a lot. It's like there's limits. They start getting sore. But yeah, that is the biggest complaint. Women complain all the time about dudes finishing quick, right? Quarter three on that. Wow, that's a lot. Well, they need to up their ad revenue. Honestly, YouTube pays me really well per view. When I talk to other guys, I'm surprised. Like my money per view is above average, and it always has been on my channel. But the views themselves are a little low these days. That's the problem. One girl didn't see me finishing too quick, Tyrone, or taking too long. Yeah. But when it takes too long, I just fake it, but end up yeah, that's not good. Lasting longer than yeah, gotcha. Well, that's a long time, dude. 2 3 hours, a lot. That's a lot. Uh, I find that if you use Viagra or Cialis, it becomes more difficult. Yeah, fair enough to finish. I mean, that could be part of your issue too, Limitless. I mean, you doctor's giving you Viagra, but he's also got a porn addiction problem. The Limitless said he's got a porn addiction problem already, and he knows that. So that's probably a factor, right? So even with the other implements, the aids, he's just going to last longer. Yeah. So he's got to fix that addiction. Until then, and he's got an issue. So none of us can help him with that. Yeah. And putting corn, yeah. Well, because it might be hitting spam filters. The filters might be catching that. I don't have that word in there, but it is YouTube's AI kind of does what it's going to do. Also, quit drinking. Well, that'll help. Stopping alcohol will help you for sure overall. Yeah. Coach, you like me on bad input of drinking, so I stopped. There we go. I've had a lot of people thank me over that. Like I've been surprised at the number of people who've messaged me letting me know I helped them quit drinking just with my message. So to me, that's a very positive thing. I'm happy about that. I thought I had one guy talked about collabing with me, right? I had one guy who talked about, because he's a strongman, competitor, and powerlifter, long term fan. He's on my friends list. He actually, I encouraged him, like he saw my stuff and that inspired him to get sober. And he's coming up on like 1 year now. So he's at almost 1 year anniversary. And we talked about doing a collab and talking about it because, again, like I'm actually really happy that I've had a dozen or so guys message me and say I inspired them to get sober and quit drinking out of my fan base. So, I look at that and say, okay, I've actually changed the world for better just by putting that message out, like, so something positive has come out of my own experiences with alcohol, in that it allows me to put that message out. And I think that's the solution to our alcohol thing. And I've said that, even though I make the more extreme comments about if I were God, Emperor of mankind, but that's not going to happen. What's a practical solution? Practical solution is we need people with followings and outreach and fans, no matter how big or how small, to speak out about alcohol negatively and inspire their followers in larger numbers, more and more people, because I'm not the only one doing it by any means. Let's be clear. It's not, oh, Jason Blaha is the biggest name doing it. And not even close, not by a long shot. But we need just more people. If more people with influence and followings, yeah, we need guys like Greg pumping that out. Well, not just them, but how about mainstream people? How about actors? How about people who run whatever financial channels? Like if someone has 1 million followers, how about Joe Rogan? This is what I mean. The more people who have followings, who promote a message of sobriety, it changes the culture. So when the popular culture, or in different countries or around the world, starts shifting more and more towards alcohol as being a purely negative thing, right? That changes the culture. This is how we solve the alcohol problem, is by a cultural shift, right? Well, I sound like you dodged a bullet there, unless you got rejected once because you wasn't drinking. And I know girls like that. I know girls who drink heavy, and I get it, man. Yeah, he's always on his podcast stream. Exactly, and that's a problem. But so how then do we solve the problem? By literally people doing that. So in my case, I've had a dozen or so people approximately tell me that I got them to stop drinking. Like my message caused them to do it. Well, that's 12 people. So I, as one person, caused 12 people to stop drinking. And if every person does that, if more and more people do that, and then someone with a big following convinces 1,000 people to stop, this accumulates. Again, cultural shift. And I hate to use that term influencer, but that would actually be influencers influencing. Because let's be fair, most people are followers. That's just the reality of human nature. Simple fact, unavoidable fact. Most people are going to be followers. They just are. Right? I don't see Trump banning alcohol. So if people just start talking more to their followers about it, right? Coach, I'm not gonna lie, I did not think drinking is bad until I started following you. Then you learned more about it, and then realized I wasn't making any of this up. When you go look, it's like, oh man, he's actually right. Do a little reading, a little research. So, but that's how you change it. A cultural shift by more and more voices of people who have followings and influence, no matter how big or how small, because it accumulates. You shift the culture. Same thing with it, whatever. Get people into fitness, get people under a barbell, right? All these things add up. You put out the information, and it's a number of voices that people hear on the different ends of it. It influences people, right? A lot of people only drink because they're followers, and the culture and society has told them to do it. And if society had done different, they wouldn't drink. Gen Z is drinking, they're just drinking less, which is good. That's a positive trend, right? But that is true. Gen Z drinks less. They still drink, they just drink less. There are more people in Gen Z, and vaping it probably, well, limitless, health-wise or other impacts. Vaping may probably be just as bad health-wise. When's the last time a nonviolent person murdered somebody under the influence of vaping? How has that happened very often? You know of any cases? You see the problem? When's the last time vapors killed 10,000 Americans in accidents out on the roads in a single year? I can't think of a single case of a vapor under the influence of vaping killing somebody in a car accident. Over 10,000 people in the U.S. die that way to drunk drivers. Drunk drivers kill over 10,000 Americans every year. Right? So do you see the difference? Sure, vaping is way better. It might cause cancer or damage to the body at the same rate, but it's not causing murders, accidents, domestic violence, right? It's not causing any of these problems. It's still going to kill people, sure. And I had the people argue with me, well, the data shows it's not as bad as smoking. And here's what the experts are saying, only because we haven't had long enough to gather data. It hasn't been going on long enough. Give it 20 years and it will probably be just as bad as normal smoking. But it's worth quitting drinking for this reason. Yeah. But is it worth quitting drinking? What do you mean? For what? All those reasons? Like not getting ass cancer? Hey, beyond belief, I think not getting cancer in your ass is a good reason to not drink. How's that sound? I think that's a great reason to not drink, because you woke up one day and says, I don't want cancer in my butt. How's that sound? So if you don't care about the violence and the accidents, I don't know, you should care about cancer in your butt. How's that sound? Or cancer in your esophagus. No, you can't get cancer from everything. That is a cop-out by lazy, intellectually lazy people. Well, they say everything causes cancer, so I'm just going to smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol because I'm a dumbass. That's what I hear when people say that. That's what I hear in my head when someone says, well, everything causes cancer. Well, I'm just going to be an ignorant dumbass since everything causes cancer. I'm just going to smoke 7 packs of cigarettes a day and I'm going to get drunk. That's what I hear in my head when someone says that. Well, everything kills you. I think that you're mentally retarded if you say that. Straight up. Completely incapable of basic logic. Not even functioning at anywhere near an average IQ to even utter such a statement. Borderline mentally retarded to even use that chain of logic. Because no, everything doesn't give you cancer. How's that for a blunt, brutal Coach Blaha answer? I can assure you broccoli doesn't cause cancer at the same rate that alcohol does. All right. It's so bad. Why does everyone does it? Because they're addicted and the culture tells them to. It's look at the data. Are you Muslim? No, I am definitely not Muslim. Yeah. Man, we got to bring back that R word, right? Because we've been having to use your mom takes Tylenol now just because they don't like it. Like I can't even put it on Facebook. So essentially, I'm just like that's the nice way of saying it now. Your mom took Tylenol. Music, yes, and I'm not telling you what my Stanford Benet is. I know what it is to the exact number, and if I mention it, it will create nothing but hate and crazy trolls. So I don't even mention it. I have said it before publicly. But yes, I have been given a Stanford Benet by a psychiatrist who can actually give a correct Stanford Benet. It's definitely above average. Yeah. The rare times I drink is because it's fitting of the scenery. Yeah, I don't drink at all. It simply don't do it. I mean, it's yeah, exactly. Why succumb to the peer pressure? I feel like IQ tests are flawed as they measure specific. No, they not really. Peppermint. They measure a pretty broad domain and they take the averages. Um, Coach, you get a lot of hate. I get some hate from even people I know who occasionally don't like my stuff. People I know from real life, they don't always like my Facebook stuff. Like, well, okay, ho. You don't got it. You don't have to like it. All right. Many IQ individuals fell for the pandemic. Yeah, but again, IQ measures a broad domain of intelligences and adds up what you have. You can have a very high IQ and be low in certain fields of it. Technically, it rates your overall processor speed. So, Matthew, think of it this way: it's pretty close to thinking of it like your processor speed on your computer, actually. Right. Right. You know, or a shot of whiskey in the back goes where you have no GPS. Now, no, I'm not. No. So, well, you can have a fast processor, but if it's processing crap, it's not very useful. Now, there's a degree of truth to that, right? Take a glass of milk, right? Definitely take a glass of milk over a shot of whiskey any day. Like you came back at 100. Okay, right. But you're just the interacting here. You're not interacting with me day to day. Um, I'm not trying to brag, but there are people who know me. I've actually heard some of the comments I've heard over the years. You're the most intelligent person I've ever met. Or I've heard like your intelligence is actually scary. Like it's frightening. Like what even goes through your head? Like, um, and I'm not the smartest person I know. People that are dyslexic have a lot. I'm dyslexic actually. I turned it into speed reading. My sister is the most intelligent person I've ever met, actually. I apologize. Second most intelligent. I met someone with a 200, or sorry, a 190 Stanford Binet. He's dead now. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. And my sister has a 160. With a photographic memory. It's freakish. Freakish. She remembers page numbers from books she read 25 years ago. You mean, how do I know I'm dyslexic? I know I'm dyslexic. I know what dyslexia is. But it helped me speed read. It lets me learn to just resort the whole page at the end of the page. So when I scan the page and learn to do it straight down, so I'm used to seeing words out of order anyways, I just resort it at the end. So you scan the page, your brain sorts it at the end. You go to the next page, you scan straight down. So you don't do the left to right. You start and just read down the column. And since I'm used to seeing, it helped me to speed read better because since I resort words and they're out of order anyways, you just reassemble them at the end. Yeah, I'm a speed reader. You have to. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, when you're reading studies and things, right, you've got to just learn to. Instead of the left to right reset, like a typewriter, you learn to scan straight down. No, I've never been tested, but I know what dyslexia is. And when I've seen plenty of examples of it, that is how I see the words. Like when it shows that, like when you look at a page, if you try to stare, you're not careful, the random words start. And I see the same thing in grocery stores when I'm walking down aisles. Why do I need to go get it tested? I'm 48 years old. Do I really need to go get tested for dyslexia? I've already learned, I've realized I definitely have it. I've learned how to use it and I've learned to turn it into speed reading. Yeah. Oh, that's not what dyslexia. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So let me go come up with thousands of dollars to go have someone test me for dyslexia out of my pocket. Oh, Lord. Yep. Have you heard of it? People? No, that's not necessarily. Yeah. No, the people that try drugs and alcohol, they don't generally have. Because why do we have said we wouldn't have this massive alcohol and drug problem in all these various communities and dumb people who do it? It's not true. Yeah, I've never heard that. All right. Well, that one definitely doesn't apply to me. But that would be an interesting one. I wonder why that is now. Where's Psych when we need her? She could be in here explaining this one for us. She scampered off. Could be a sampling. Could be sampling bias, absolutely. Right. I'm just looking for that, right? Man, this has been a pretty long stream. I think I am going to wind this one down, though, guys. This has been long. We didn't get a single super chat at 3 hours. Oh, man. Oh, well, it happens. We might get some in the afternoon. What do you mean we got to make it? We don't have to make it to 3 hours. That's what she said. What do you mean make it to 3 hours? Or a disability. Might be good for the algorithm. What? To do for 3 hours? Someone give a super for 3 hours. What? Beyond belief, you could do a super, right? That somebody should, man. They should drop me $1 for last 3 hours. Oh, Lord. That would be hilarious. We ended up getting $1 for the longest live stream I've ever done. Borderline comical. Oh Lord. Is this with my mail? So I get emails letting me know what mail I have coming. Someone gives a super for 3 hours, right? Tyrone, why are you laughing? You should drop $1 at 3 hours. I've sat here chatting with you people for 3 hours drinking coffee. We've talked about a lot of topics. You know it's hilarious, man. Some of my haters are gonna have to sit here and watch the whole thing. They're gonna have to watch the whole thing, looking for the juicy tidbits. That actually cracks me up. I get tickled just thinking about that. People gonna hate me even more. Like this dude, he's literally making us do that. I hope he dies. I hope he dies. I hate him. I definitely have haters, man. You probably want to. No, okay. Of course, I have haters. Is it not obvious based upon the troll comments that come through and the hate videos? I mean, is it not blaringly obvious? Do you need to ask such a rhetorical question? I don't think it's a lot, to be fair. I think it's a handful who are obsessed and make endless accounts. But to be fair, people hate on a fictional persona. Like they're hating on. They're not hating me. They're hating a caricature that people have created that really isn't me. Like no one who sees this caricature who knows me would think that it's anything like me. That's why it's funny. Peppermint. Oh man, is that the first super you ever dropped, Peppermint? What? Appreciate it though, bro. Thank you so much. Peppermint, I don't think you've ever dropped a super. What? I mean, he makes hours and hours of streams. But drop me a super chat, man. Don't say you're dyslexic, Tracy. You're not. Well, you don't know that I'm not music. The stuff I've seen would indicate I definitely have the symptoms. Mm-hmm. 3 hours. Here we go. Okay. You know what? I'll definitely stick it out to 3 hours. Since Peppermint asked me to do the 3 hours, and then he drops his first super ever, I'm gonna stick it out. I think that's perfectly reasonable. You know, that's a reasonable request. What? Oh, there we go. And Lars dropping them. Everybody dropping some supers. Coming along. It's kind of funny. Well, so much for my theory. The longest live I've ever done didn't get supers, and they start dropping in it right before 3 hours. This is weird. Might be a thing. I know that would happen more. Like if I just had the stamina to stay in them in the afternoon, I know that honestly those would get more supers. If I ever stuck out an afternoon one 3 hours, it would probably. I need to just do it because I already know they would get a ton of them. I don't know why I don't. I feel like I lose my energy. I'm like high energy in those. And I feel like I can't sustain that energy because I'm going to get real chill in them like this, you know? So I feel like I wouldn't be able to sustain that same energy, you know? And I think that's part of it. Like I feel like, how do I put it? Remember you saying to limits about the different crowd. Yeah, the afternoons, dude, they'll rip you apart, man. Bro, I saw it like it's a more chill crowd in the morning. Some of my afternoon crowds, dude, they'll be like, oh, he talking about his porn problem. He talking about his girl problems. They'll be like, boom. They'll be like, kapow. You'll get like 7 or 8 people voting to kapow. Dude, the paying channel members will be voting to kapow you. They'll be like, get rid of him. He's like, they're more savage. My afternoon crowd is savage. My afternoon crowd, a bunch of them who have memberships and stuff, they get savage. I'm going to join today, coach. You be coming in there talking about the girl. She said my hand was sweaty. They'd be like, kapow his pussy ass. And they'd be like, I'm just telling you how they are. That is literally what would happen. They'd be like, what's this? What's this up in here? We don't need this. Yeah, that's how they are, though, dude. The afternoon crowd is savage. But I go in with, think about the higher energy. I come in with those. I literally do natural hypertrophy imitations and with the outrageous French accent. But that's why I don't stick them out longer. I almost feel like the afternoon crowd expects that energy from me. And it's like I can do it for 45 minutes. Yeah. I can do it for an hour, but man, I can only do so much of the shake and bake, kapow. And this is natural hypertrophy with my outrageous French accent. You stinky English big dogs. Fucking your general direction. And then we talk about how Frenchie got deported by La Migra. So I have a different energy, man. I'm real chill. I'm like waking up in the mornings. It's a phonological processing. True. I was deaf for part of my childhood. Actually, I was deaf for 7 or 8 years in my left ear, actually, till I got my eardrum replaced. So I have a bone and skin tympanoplasty. Boy, there's nothing more fun than going into the ENT department and have the medical students all coming through. And the ENT saying, hey, y'all come over and take a look in his ear. And 12 people in a row come over to look inside my ear. And it's like, are we doing this? This is one of the best tympanoplasties I've ever seen of an eardrum. Like, this is quality work, Like, look at this. I got 12 medical students looking inside my ear through the thing. Like, are we serious, y'all? This happened. Like, okay, I guess I have a really good artificial eardrum. It's good to know. My mom got the best surgeon she could find. So should I buy that combat knife for close quarter combat since guns are all that? I would definitely. But you're going to make sure you got a full tang on it. Make sure you got a full tang on it, bro. You don't want that breaking. If you have to use it, use it. All right. But guys, I think we broke 3 hours. I think I'm going to wind it down. The rest of my day sorted. Think about some GPP out there in the cold streets out there. It's 40. It says it's 48. It got colder. All right, guys, this was a record breaker live. But we got supers from it. But I think it's about, I know I'm surprised. It's 48, dude. What happened? We had a cold front. I'm just not prepared for this. I'm not prepared for this. I'm going to be out there in my men's shorts. They're men's running shorts, but people want to call them booty shorts or whatever. I'm out there in my booty shorts. What's up? Hold them back. But I think it's time to wind this down, y'all. A 24-hour, there's no way, dude. I ain't doing a 24-hour live. No. It would probably get crazy supers, though. But I'm going to roll this out, guys. I'm going to wind it down. I love you guys. Thank you for the super chats. We've had a fun chat. We talked about a lot of stuff. But we're out. Peace, guys.